Hello, everyone. My name is Tara, and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel, I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. I had been doing two different series within my YouTube channel. I had done Signs from the Universe, and I had done Health and Well-Being and Healing. But I recently wanted to talk about some other subjects, and they didn't really fit into those playlists. So I think I'm just going to give some life updates and also talk about just why it's important to make sure that you feel supported and that you have a group of people that you can relate to and share conversations with, and they just understand you without having to explain yourself. So, first, for the life updates. Um, Also, the other thing I had wanted to say is that in previous videos, whenever I had done life updates, I had tried to go back and write the comment of where the actual subject of the video started. But recently, a lot of my life updates co-align with the theme of the video, so I don't feel like I'm going to go back and comment when that starts in this video, just for a heads up. But anyway, recently I had taken a trip to my parents' house, and it was really nice. I got to spend time with my father and mom and my brother, and my daughter and husband and I got to have some downtime with all of them, and we got out for walks and we had a wonderful holiday with them. And I also was excited because I saw some angel numbers on the way for license plates. I saw 444, 666, 777, and just had some quality time with my loved ones. I also wanted to talk about that this past week I got a really awesome surprise because I had had a colleague that was out for medical leave, and she returned to school this past week, and I don't normally get to work with her, but she got reassigned to my class, and I was thrilled because I loved working with her in previous years, and I never really got the chance to work with her this year, and I didn't even think that that was going to be occurring. So I was so excited, and we had a great week together. And I am happy that she's healing and recovering, and I hope she takes it easy as she comes back to work. But having her companionship, having her expertise, and having her in the room was just so much support and gave me and my students much more flexibility and grace and just more help overall, which was wonderful. I also wanted to talk about my other colleague who is our librarian at the school. She has been one of the biggest supporters of my sharing of my life and just the subjects I have on YouTube. And she's been doing so much for the community. Last month, she did a book fair for the month of March, and that was taking place either online and at a local bookstore, which was wonderful. And I'm so excited because this coming week she's gotten an author to come to our school and read the stories that they had written, and the kids are going to be able to get an autograph and a signed copy of her book if they want to and if their families want them to. And I just think that's so special. And it's such a wonderful opportunity for students to be able to meet and ask questions to real authors and see that this is a career that they could do if they want to become an author or an illustrator. So I just think she's bringing so much excitement and joy into our school building, which is great. She's also doing a fundraiser and doing a food drive for people in need. So I think that is also such an incredible thing that she's helping lead our school to do. And it teaches the kids not just to think about what their families are like and what they need, but also have that outer lens of taking care of others and putting other people first, which is such a good life skill and a good life lesson. So those are some of the life tidbits of my updates. And now I just wanted to talk further about some of the things that have been happening to me spiritually, and why it's so important to have people to talk to about the things that you might be experiencing, or just having those conversations with people that have the same beliefs. And even if they don't have the same beliefs, have that open mindset and that flexible thinking to be able to reflect and think about more of those ideas and concepts fluidly. So the other night, I was getting really big flashes of light when I was spending time with my husband and my daughter. And it was really exciting because during my life, when I was 23 to 26, I was getting a lot of flashes and like zooms of white energy across my vision. But then as my life got busier and I had other things going on, it preoccupied me to really focus in and meditate and bring out those experiences more. I was dating and I finally met my husband, and now we have a family. So those things don't always happen to me as regularly as they had been. So when they do start to happen, it's usually when I'm focused more on my spirituality, but also trying to ground myself when life does feel overwhelming. And right now, it really does feel overwhelming because in my previous videos, I've mentioned that I am not going to be signing my contract at the school that I've been at for the last 9 years. And I've been in this community for 10 years. So there's a lot of life change happening, and I'm currently finding what I'm going to be doing for the next segment of my life, and figuring out if my family and I want to be in different locations and environments. So there's so much going on. And so when my mind can be at ease, whether I'm playing with my daughter or watching a movie with my husband, that's when I start to relax and I start to get out of the fight or flight brain mode, and I can just feel my body loosen up. I can feel my muscles untighten. And then when I'm getting tired right before bed is usually when more of that vibration or those energies, especially if it's light, happen to me. And I think it's so important that we share those experiences. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been into near-death experiences. I've always believed that there's more than just our physical bodies, and that our souls continue on, and they might have more lifetimes and more lessons that they want to learn. And I don't necessarily resonate to any one religion, because I think in my opinion, they all kind of merge together, and there's a lot of overlapping beliefs and ideas that go with them. I was raised Catholic, but when I was a child, I didn't resonate with a lot of the ideas and the opinions that are held in that belief system. And so as I've gotten older, I've kind of gravitated more towards other concepts and widened my lens on what I feel spirituality means to me, and what the afterlife could entail. But one thing that I've always believed in is that things are not always what they seem. And I was always into angels and the idea that things aren't always what they seem. Especially even if you go to the Disney movies I loved. I loved The Little Mermaid. I loved Beauty and the Beast. And I loved Aladdin. And in all three of those movies, there's a theme of not everything is what it seems. With The Little Mermaid, you have her she wanting to be human, and to Prince Eric, she seems like a regular human, but she's really a mermaid. You even have it in Beauty and the Beast, with the enchantress that turns the prince into the beast, but she hides and disguises herself as an old woman who needs shelter from a storm. And he's cruel to her, and so he doesn't see how she would benefit his life by giving her shelter, and that turned out to be his loss, because then he got turned into the beast. And even back in The Little Mermaid, there's times just like the beast where the sea witch disguises herself, and in a way that is not beneficial to people around her. People think she is a beautiful maiden, and she has bad intentions for people. And then again in Aladdin, Jasmine and Aladdin are both people that say that they're something other than who they are. And I always thought that idea was so interesting, even as a child, because to me, what I took from Beauty and the Beast and what I took from The Little Mermaid and what was the other one I had said, Aladdin, is that you never know who you will interact with and who's going to come into your life. And a lot of those people are either going to be teaching you a lesson that is hopefully positive, but it could be something that you learn from that experience that could be negative. And that you never know who's going to be your greatest supporter, or who's going to be someone that you learn you need to distance yourself from. Another part of growing up in the 90s is that I also loved a show called Touched by an Angel, and that had a similar theme to it, is that you never knew. In the show, it had episodes of a family or something that went wrong in somebody's life, and then at some point an angel disguised as a human would come along and basically help that person solve their problem, or help them figure out a solution in a different angle. And I always loved that show as well. Same with Angels in the Outfield. I loved that movie as a kid. That was about orphans in foster care, and somehow I spent a while since I've seen it, and then somehow they get a foster parent, but he's part of a baseball team, and there's angels helping out this team, and it's just showing the kids not to lose hope and not to lose faith. And those are some of my favorite movies growing up. And I think the biggest lesson I got from all of them is that, one, treat everybody fairly and equally and with respect and consideration and kindness, because everyone deserves it, and you never know how you could change their life, and you never know who's watching and who could see the good acts that you do and benefit from them, but also make your life better in return. And I don't know, that tangent just really reminded me of taking life one day at a time, and not only with people, but opportunities and situations. Just because situations might be uncomfortable right now doesn't mean that they're negative or that there's nothing to be learned from. And some of the hardest decisions in life that you make can be the best things that down the road you're gonna love that you made that choice. And sometimes looking back, you might think that, oh, I wish I didn't do that. But at the same time, there's really no reason to have regret, because whatever that decision was has made you who you were or who you are today. So those are just some of the things that have been on my mind. And having that energy that I saw a few nights ago gave me that hope and that confidence that things are going to work out, and for the things that I'm going through, and to be aware of what is going right in your life, and whether that's compliments from someone, whether that is your boss saying that they've noticed how hard you're working, or whether it's just a friend calling you up and saying how much they've missed you. It can be little things. Doesn't have to be anything to do with spirituality. But for me, it does bring me hope when I have things that give me just not confidence, but reassurance that I'm not alone, and that I am on the right path. And I think all of us always crave that reassurance, and part of life is taking a leap of faith sometimes, and that's okay too. And I think it is really funny how the biggest decisions in life are the ones that you do. Most of the time people don't make decisions quickly, and that's a good thing. It's good to ponder the pros and cons of things, and it's really good to try to see different angles. And so if anyone is making big decisions in their life, or just really having a hard time seeing the good, hopefully just looking at all the people that you love and care about, thinking about them, whether they're close or far away, or thinking about the small things that you have, whether it's your physical health, whether you can mobilize and walk and run, and just the little things that make life easier that we may not always remember or that we take for granted. Having the mindset that we are very rich in many things that we have in our life is another way that I just feel comforted and really appreciate in my life. So those were the things that I wanted to share and talk about, and I think that's one of the biggest things that help people escape loneliness is sharing the little parts of their life and connecting to one another, whether you can relate to it or not. Just having that sense of community and that bond with people, even if you don't see them very often, or even if you don't know them. If someone's online watching me, I hope that something in this conversation you can resonate with, and hopefully get some peace or hope from me. So that is always my intention. I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and I hope you all take care. I love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.